Hey everybody and welcome to another edition of Voice of the Voices. I'm Ansel Young, and today I have with me...
Jeremy Inman. That's a Bob Barker mic. Nice.
Thanks. Yeah, it's a little bit different from usual mics.
Right.
Yeah. So how are you doing today?
I'm good. A little tired from the festivities. Can you tell I work with my voice a lot? Last night, but it was awesome. So, doing good. Fort Wayne's awesome.
Okay. So what is it like working in industry for you?
What is it like working in the industry? It's awesome. I've made a lot of friends. So basically, you get to get paid to hang out with people you like for the most part. It really is a good job. It's still work. Like we were just talking about it in a panel. It's work, but it's probably one of the better jobs you can have. So all of us are just really grateful to be able to do it. You know, so we get to come to cool places like this, meet other people. You know, it's funny when we go to. It's such a isolated experience when you're working. It's just you and the actor and the director and the sound engineer, or you're one of the three. For this application, you're the actor or the director, and you only see people just in and out of the hall. So when you do a convention, you actually get to hang out. You have to travel to 4 states away in order to hang out with people you live 30 miles away from. So we always get a kick out of that, but it's great.
Are there any particular shows that you've worked on that are favorites?
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z, Fairy Tale. I've read your. Those are a couple of my faves. Just because the character Taurus in Fairy Tale is such a pervy. He's fun to do. I'm always upset because he shows up and then leaves.
Yeah.
And I always want him to have a little more screen time, just because he's so fun to do. And my little niece calls him Muscle Cow, which I thought was funny. Yeah, Muscle Cow, pervy Muscle Cow. So he's always fun to do. Taxing, because he's always yelling moo or making some sort of bad pun.
Funny, though.
Yeah, so it's fun to do. And Android 16, just because that was my first role ever in Dragon Ball Z, and that's just kind of what led to into everything else. So I always have to throw him in, just because he's the founder of the feast, really. So.
Okay. So what was it like working on the Dragon Ball Z series?
It was. It's just now, for me, coming into full circle as far as how popular it's gotten. Like when I first started doing it, I didn't know what Dragon Ball Z was. I didn't know what anime was really, and it's just something you kind of do. And again, you're so isolated. You're just kind of removed from everyone else that likes it. So now that I do a couple more conventions now, I get to actually meet people that have watched the show. You know. And that's where it kind of comes full circle as far as, wow, people actually watch it and like it. So it's cool in that sense. You know, it's rewarding that you're doing something that people actually like. And I guess to wrap to your first question, working in the industry, that's a perk, is to be able to experience people appreciating that or not. I mean, there's a ton of people that don't like it either, and that's cool, whatever. But it is it's a perk from the just nature of the job.
All right. You talked a little bit about it, but what was it like working on Fairy Tale playing Taurus?
It's it's fun. It's always interesting seeing how pervy we can get or how pervy we're not allowed to get with it. The director Tyler, he always whips. The first thing he does is scream "moo," and so like 10 takes into that, it's like, okay, can we move on? Because it's taxing, but it's fun. I'm trying to think of some of the other pervier things we. But he's just fun because he's so just comical. I guess he's one of the more comical characters I've done, which I appreciate myself. I've never really taken myself that seriously, and I can relate Taurus to that as well. So he's a fun one.
Okay.
I've never seen anybody cosplay as him though, so I'm waiting for that.
Yeah, I haven't
Somebody
seen that
cosplay as Taurus, and then come find me, and then we'll find a Lucy and sign him or whatever.
Now, if you could be any of the characters that you've played,
Taurus.
who would it be? And feel free to mix and match multiple characteristics.
Mix and match?
Yeah.
An android version of Taurus. No.
So he's mechanical like Android 16, but he's got all the perviness of Taurus.
Right. And he actually delivers. He finally gets Lucy. How's that? Actually, there's a couple other ones. I played Woodney in Black Cat, which is a little lesser known, way lesser known anime. But he was always fun. He was, in fact, going back to your other question, he was a fun one to play too, just because he was a voice I don't get to do a lot, which is he's kind of nerdy. It's whatever, which I thought was fun to do. It was kind of a play on the stereotypical nerd voice.
Yeah.
So we just kind of threw that in there. Now I feel like, you do so many and then they just go as soon as somebody asks you about them. But definitely Taurus and the Speedo. Who wouldn't want his abs or the Speedo? I mean, come on. So maybe I should cosplay as
That would be awesome.
just come as Taurus.
Bring your big battle axe.
Yeah.
I don't know how you'd have to check that.
Yeah, probably. Unless it was fake. Some guy just walked in with some huge sword or I don't know
Yeah.
what that was.
It was a Final
Final
Fantasy.
Fantasy
It was
thing?
a Buster Blade, I believe it's called.
That thing.
Okay. So, is there anything that you've recently worked on that you can talk about or would like to talk about?
I would. I can't, though. I'm doing a character in One Piece right now, which is really fun. In fact, if I could talk about him, he'd be one of my favorites. But he hasn't been announced yet, so I can't really talk about that one. But look for it. There's a show that I wish I could plug that hasn't been announced yet, that I did with Chris Bevins. We're doing Heroic Legend of Arslan as the broadcast dub, which I really like. It's an epic Game of Thrones / Lord of the Rings type feel. It's a big epic show. It's got that kind of feel to it. A lot of fighting, a lot of arrows and swords and stuff. But it's a good show. It's an anime I would recommend to people who don't really watch anime. Along with that one that's coming out that I can't mention yet. That's a big one I would recommend to people who don't watch anime. It's like, well, check this one out and see what you think. Just the themes are current, it's topical, but it's really good and it's done really well and it's interesting and it's got some good characters and it's got a good storyline. So, it's got all the ingredients are there. I just can't say what. But I do wish I could talk about the One Piece character because he's one of my faves. In fact, other than Taurus, he would be the one. That I'd be. Damn, it's frustrating.
Well, bringing up One Piece, I know you've been in it before as other characters.
Yeah.
So what's it like working on One Piece, or
One
what was it
Piece
like working on it?
is crazy. If you've ever crossed the halls in Funimation, you've been on One Piece because that's how big and epic the show is. Like usually the cast sheets are this long, 3 pages, tons of bit parts, tons of walla, tons of everything. I've directed some of One Piece. I've been 3 different characters in One Piece. Now 4. It's a fun show though. That's another one. I like One Piece because you can just watch an episode of it and be entertained. There's not a lot of deep journey to it. There's some elements in it that are dramatic, but for the most part, it's a really entertaining show, and I can appreciate that. Some of the more serious animes are just like, okay, deep, I get it. So I can appreciate a show that's just entertaining versus, some deep introspective journey and just whatever, One Piece. Yeah, that's about it. It's just an epic show. We always joke that One Piece and Dragon Ball Z Funimation is the house that Z and One Piece built. Basically, it's the 2 biggest shows they've ever done, and they're still doing them.
I'd still like to see them do that one collaboration video. I think it was Toriko mixed with Dragon Ball Z and One Piece. It was
Yeah.
some short they had on television. I think that'd be awesome.
I can see how that would work.
Another show you worked on, Beck. What was it like working on that?
Beck was interesting because everybody else in it had to sing, or it was about band members and stuff. My character was just the bar owner who just kind of bitched a lot. Can I say bitch on this?
Yeah, that's fine.
Sure. Why not? So it was interesting. I didn't even think I was going to get used on it. I remember when we were recording it years ago, and everybody was doing half the guys up there are musicians. It's like, yeah, man, it's going to be awesome. I was like, okay, good for you guys. And then I ended up on it. And I was like, oh, cool. I'm part of the cool kids now. In fact, that's what I took away from Beck. Is like, oh, can I be cool with you other musicians too, even though I'm not a musician? So, they always get all the chicks. You know how it is, musicians.
There's one this weekend, right? Another voice actor.
What?
Blake.
Yeah.
He's a musician.
Oh, yeah, he has a band.
Yeah.
Whatever. The jerk.
And lastly, another great show you worked on, Desert Punk.
Love it.
What was it like working on that?
Desert Punk is my favorite project I've ever worked on. Me and Eric Vale are really close. And we got close working on Desert Punk together. We both have the same twisted sense of humor. So basically, every night we were recording Desert Punk, we had a stack of papers of just euphemisms for boobs and other various nasty, dirty things. It's like, what can we and can we not use? I probably couldn't tell you a couple of the stories about. There was one time I got in the booth with Eric to do a Foley sound effect when he's in an air duct. I don't know if you've seen the show, but he's doing something dirty, and I'm behind Eric making the sound effect for it into the microphone. It's pretty twisted, but and it's funny. There's not every day just comedy animes like that come down the pipe. You know, they don't make as much of them. So whenever I can get my hands on a project like that, I love it, just because I'm more adept to doing comedy stuff versus the more serious stuff. So Desert Punk was my favorite, and I got to be in it. I co-directed it with Zach Bolton, plug for you. So he cast me as Fuyo, which is it's always fun to be able to do that, and then have be directed in the show you're also working on. And Fuyo was one of my favorite roles too. Just because he was an idiot. They're all idiots. I mean, that's why I got to meet Lucy Christian, who's really, really good. So I mean, it was just a good experience. I was just watching an episode I did, like Chris Sabat, he came in, he made some bad asparagus-smelling pea joke, but it's still funny to this day. It's like in episode 7 or something like that. That's when I met Monarch. I met a lot of people working on Desert Punk that I'm still friends with, and so that was definitely my favorite project that I've worked on, just because the content of the show, it was funny. You get to work with some of your favorite people, you know, all just perks of the job. But that's been my favorite project, for sure. I wish it got more play. If you're out there, go watch it, because it's funny, and it's fun to watch. And it's, you know, it's a journey, like most of them, but at least it's a funny journey.
Yeah. So do you have any social media that people can follow you on, like Facebook, Twitter, or anything like that?
I have a Facebook page, Jeremy Inman, voice actor / director, so go find it and like it. I also have a Twitter, but I just got it, and I'm not good at it. So it's like, Twitter is confusing. And I know it shouldn't be. It's like a scaled-down Facebook where it's just one-liners and, you know, hashtags. But I haven't started rolling with it yet. In fact, Chris Bevins made me get a Twitter so I could live tweet tonight with Mikacho and Hachin coming on Toonami. And one of my other favorite characters is just an offensive Chinese chef.
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, you know what's odd? It's like, oh, can we do this? Because I don't do accents, but for some reason I cornered the market in doing offensive Chinese guy accents. Because after I did that one, I did another one who was even more offensive. He was like, he ran sex slaves out of the back of his restaurant. I'm like, guys, we just got done at a panel talking about typecasting. So I guess I've been typecast as the offensive Chinese guy. So I'll take it. Whatever. I'll do it.
If you ever need Asian stereotypes,
right.
Jeremy Inman's your man.
Right. Poorly done. I mean, not only Asian stereotype, but badly done. I'm the guy. It's true, though. Oh, man.
Well, thanks for joining us today, Jeremy.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
I'm Ansel.
I'm Jeremy. Find me on Facebook, but not Twitter yet, because the Twitter thing, well, I don't know, whatever you got to do. I don't care.
Might give it a few weeks.
Yeah. Right. Let me warm up to it. Let me find my Twitterverse.
Coming to you from Fort Wayne, Indiana, Ikasukan. We'll see you next time.
Bye.